Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of the DC Capstone Report. It's great to be back with you this week after another victory by the Alabama Crimson Tide over the Kentucky Wildcats. Thank you all for tuning in. We're so glad you're here. Lance and I really appreciate it. We've had so many viewers this year, more viewers than we've ever had on YouTube, more views than we've had on Facebook. All of you that listen to my podcast each week, we're just overwhelmed with all the support we've gotten from you. So thank you for that. Thank you for going out and liking Lance's other sites too, RollTideBama.com and FreelancePictures.com. So don't forget, this week will be our last home game. Lance will have some great pictures, I'm sure, up of Senior Day with all the seniors and also of all the festivities going on against the game against Chattanooga. So always thank Lance for all that he does, for helping this podcast along and making sure that everything runs smoothly on it. So we really appreciate Lance. So check out his sites at RollTideBama.com and FreelancePictures.com. All right, today on the podcast, in our first segment, we're going to review the game against Kentucky. We're going to take a look at in the second segment with our players of the game. In our third and final segment, we're going to preview the upcoming game against the Chattanooga Moccasins.
You're listening to the DC Capstone Report. The DC Capstone Report is featured each Tuesday morning on the Martin Houston Show at Tide 100.9. You can listen live at Tide100.9.com.
Well, welcome back to the podcast here on the DC Capstone Report. It is great to have everyone tuned in. Another great week, another Alabama victory. Played a great game. So in this first segment, we're going to review this game against Kentucky. Alabama went on the road in the Kroger Field there to play the Kentucky Wildcats in Lexington. They had a good crowd. They were up for the game. They came out ready to play. And had the number one rushing offense in the SEC. They had the number one rusher in the SEC, Ray Davis. He was the number one rusher, had more yards than any running back in the SEC. And they came out ready to play and ready to run the ball. But Alabama really did a great job in this game, putting together a complete game in all phases of the game. Now, it wasn't perfect. And when I say complete, I mean they played well in all phases of the game. They had some mistakes, and we're going to look at those in just a minute. But let's look at the good things first. What was the good on offense? Well, we came out and we established the run, did a really good job in this game. I think the play calling was really good. Another week where Tommy Reese did a great job of play calling. I think Jalen Milroe had command of the offense. He's getting more comfortable in it. And running the ball, the offensive line did a great job in blocking for the run. So we ran the ball. We set up some plays with Jalen Milroe with running the ball himself, which caused him also to have some open lanes for passing. And it caused some of our players to get really deep, and he connected on some touchdown passes in this game. So a really good offensive performance, really good offensive game plan. Think we came out and it put up 42 points, 49 points, 49 to 21, just put up a number of good offensive production in this game. So on defense, we came in to shut down the run, and we did just that. We shut down the number one running back in the SEC, Ray Davis. He was already over 1,000 yards. He was already so thought of. He was pumped up in this game to have a good game. And yet he hold him for 12 carries for 26 yards for a 2.2 yard average. 2.2 yard average. His longest run of the game was 6 yards. Now, we did have a bust when the second team came on, and that Ramon Jefferson had a 74-yard run, and that really caused our rushing stats to be out of kilter. But up until that point, we held them in check, and even after that game replay, our play in the defense was just that one play, that one big bust there that gave up that run. Other than that, I think our defense played well around the game, holding them to 21 points. I believe that there was another play in the game that was a negative play, and that was the punt catch. We got to clean up that punt catch. Kool-Aid McKinstry, again, Coach Saban didn't blame him for it because he said the blocker got in his way, but in my opinion, you got to catch that, or you got to get out of the way. And I think that was a turning point for momentum in the game. We'd have got the ball and we'd drive them to go up 28-0 had we have caught that punt. And yet they get it, go deep in, we get a penalties, things don't go our way, and they score a touchdown there that puts them back momentum-wise in the game. So I think that one of the negatives in this game had to be that punt catch. I think we did good on offense. I think we did really good on defense. But some of the things we need to clean up are the penalties that we continue to have on defense that extend plays, pass interference, hands to the face. It's a really ticky-tack call, but you ought to know that they're looking for that on the quarterback now, since we had all the outcry against last week when we put out the LSU quarterback, so they were watching closely. As soon as one of our players touched his helmet, they called a personal foul. That extended the plays. We had some pass interferences, penalties that didn't go our way. A lot of the calls in this game didn't go our way. There was even on the punt catch, they recovered it, but it looked like he was out of bounds, and it went their way. Some of the plays that were going, the 50-50 ball plays that they did catch, seemed to be going whether it was a catch or not, went their way as well. So overall, good, running the ball well, doing a good job of passing on play action passes on the offense. Jalen Milroe played a great game in this game. The offensive line had their best game. I think Everett didn't give up a single sack in this game, a tremendous improvement over past games. And then our defense played really well to shut down their offensive rushing attack, except for that one busted 74-yard run. We did a really good job of holding them throughout the team. I think they had in this entire game, the one running back had that 74-yard run, but after that, the longest run was 6 yards. So defense did a really good job. Very pleased with the outcome of this game. We go on the road. Easy to have a letdown after a big win over LSU, but you go on the road. And what I haven't talked about, you clinch the Western Division. So Alabama is Western Division champ. So you can't review this game without saying how important it is. You got to win the West before you can go to the championship. So now we're set after winning this game against Kentucky for a showdown with Georgia in the SEC championship. But that doesn't mean that we have a letdown, and we got to make sure that we don't have a letdown going into our next week's game against Chattanooga. Well, welcome back to the DC Capstone Report here on our second segment. I want to thank again those who are tuning in each week. I want to thank our sponsors, RollTideBama.com and FreelancePictures.com. Always check out Lance's sites. We'll thank Lance for this whole year, how great a job he's done producing this podcast. And I can't leave in this segment without thanking our sponsor of the year. That's Karen Cunningham, Realtor, right here of the Williams Group at Keller Williams, right here in Tuscaloosa. She is ready to serve you in all of your real estate needs at 205-887-4008. She can serve you statewide as a realtor. If you need a house to sell, you got one you want to list, give her a call. If you want to buy a house, want to buy that condo in Tuscaloosa, give her a call. Or you can check out the inventory that she has on her website at www.karen.thewilliamsgroupal.com. Again, that's Karen Cunningham, Realtor, right here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, for all your real estate needs. Well, right here on the second segment, we're going to look at our players of the game. And this may sound a little redundant from last week, but I'm going to start with our offensive players of the game. My offensive players of the game this week are exactly the same as last week. You can't go anywhere in offense in this game without talking about Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe was the man in this game. He was 15 of 22 for 234 yards passing with 3 touchdowns. He did have one bad interception, and he needs to learn from that. Throw the ball away when he was trying to go out of bounds. He threw across his body and never should do that when you're throwing the ball. But I thought he did a great job in this game passing the ball. 15 of 22, 234 yards, 1 interception with a 94.5 QBR rating. So I really was pleased with him. But he also did a good job of setting things up for other players. He ran the ball well in this game as well. His rushing totals were 8 carries for 36 yards and 3 touchdowns. His longest run was 16 yards, but he has 3 passing touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns. And listen to this, sets the record. No other quarterback in the history of Alabama football, and I'm talking about all the years we've had the wishbone runners, All the years we've had the great passers. No quarterback in Alabama history has ever had 3 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns in the same game. So Jalen Milroe accounted for 6 touchdowns in this game. Of the touchdowns that were recorded, he recorded 6 of them. So Jalen Milroe is one of my offensive players of the game. My other offensive players of the game, again, is the entire offensive line. I have to give credit. I've been very critical of this offensive line at some points during the season. But this game, they really did a great job. Caden Proctor, the left tackle, let's start there. He's improved. He did better in this game. No one on the offensive line allowed a single sack all day long. Jalen Milroe helped them by getting out of the pocket, stepping up in the pocket, but they did a good job of giving him time to throw. And when you give him time to throw, he can hit those seam routes or those layered routes where he gets the deep ball down and did a good job. The offensive line did a good job giving him an opportunity to do that. So starting with Caden Proctor, then you move into your left guard, Tyler Booker, probably the best left guard in the nation. He did a great job of pancake blocking some people in this game. Did a really good job. Seth McLaughlin, center, didn't have many snaps that were off. He did a good job of getting on double blocks, blocking the linemen, and then getting out on linebackers for some of the opening of the runs. And then Jaden Roberts, he has come on at right guard, and he did a fantastic job in this game. And I think he supplanted Darren Delacourt at the right guard. We saw Darren Delacourt was healthy because he came in and got some playing time as center when Ty Simpson came into the game to give Jalen Milroe a breather. So I think Jaden Roberts is solidified that spot at right guard. And then J.C. Latham, the best right tackle in the game today, he did a great job. So that entire offensive line, again, are my offensive players of the game. My defensive players of the game, a little different from last week, but you have one returning player, and that's Terrion Arnold. Terrion Arnold has continued to play well each and every game. They used to pick on him on the side or go away from Kool-Aid McKinstry, but I don't think you can go away from Kool-Aid McKinstry to get to Terrion Arnold anymore. He had 4 solo tackles in this game. He had 1 tackle for loss, and he had a pass defended and an interception. Terrion Arnold is really playing up. And what we asked him to do in this game, people don't realize what it changed for him. Normally he's a cornerback. And in this game, because of the injury to our safeties, you had safety shifted around. So with Jalen Key being out, you had Malachi Moore moving from the star to safety, and you had Terrion Arnold moving over to the star position. So he played the star position. He played some at corner, and he did a great job of doing everything he needed to do in this game. So he is one of my defensive players of the game. My other defensive player of the game, it has to be the defensive rookie of the year out there, and that's Caleb Downs. He's leading the team in tackles, and this game was no different. He had 7 tackles, 5 solos tackles in this game. He had a tackle for the loss. He had multiple passes defended in the end zone on the slant receivers. He stopped players from getting first downs, from extending the drives. He just was phenomenal all over the field in this game. So my offensive players of the game, Jalen Milroe and the entire offensive line, which did a great job offensively, and Caleb Downs and Terrion Arnold, which did a fantastic job on defense. Well, welcome back to the third and final segment of the DC Capstone Report. Again, I want to thank you for tuning in, for listening. Thank Lance for all he does for making this podcast possible through his production each week. Thank him for our sponsors, RollTideBama.com, FreelancePictures.com, and Karen Cottingham, Realtor with the Williams Group right here at Keller Williams in Tuscaloosa. You can reach out to Karen at 205-887-4008 for all your real estate needs. Well, we got a game against the Chattanooga Moccasins coming into Bryant-Denny Stadium. It'll be senior day, the last game, and let me tell you what, we cannot have a letdown in this game. This Chattanooga Moccasin team is no joke. They have good players. They have good skill positions. They do a good job. They have a good record. The games they've lost by 1 possession to the number 1 team in their division, Furman, and the number 2 team in their division. So they have done really, really good job this year, and they're going to bring in a formidable opponent. So we don't need to have a letdown, and we are susceptible to that because we just come off a victory on the road against Kentucky that clinches the West. And then you got a game a week after next against Auburn, which everybody looks forward to the Iron Bowl there. But you know, Chattanooga is the next team on our schedule, and if we don't beat Chattanooga, we will not play. Want to have the opportunity to play for a national championship. It's simple. It's simple. If we don't beat Chattanooga, we cannot play for a national championship. So we can't go into this game with any letdown. We can't go into this game about trying to get people healthy. We've got to play our best players in this game who are healthy to be able to compete and get a good enough lead in this game where we can make them quit and then go to rest some of our players. But we've had letdowns in games against Chattanooga before, against Georgia Southern, against other teams that came in here, Citadel, and really ran over us and because we were not in the game. So we can't afford to do that. So the key to the game is no complacency. Come into this game and play like we have to win it to win the national championship, because that is the truth. And number two, we can't look at the name and not take them serious. We have to be not complacent, but we also have to be ready to play on all cylinders. So that means no mistakes. It has to be mistake-free football. No mistakes in this game. We have to run the ball to set up the play action passes, and we got to play good defense and not let them extend plays on third down to extend drives. If we do that, we will come out of this game a winner. But I promise you, we have to be in this game, and we have to be in it to win it, as they say. This game is the next game on our schedule. Don't be let down. Don't have a letdown. Make it be the best game they played all year, well-rounded. And if we do that, I believe we'll come out with a victory. So I think we need to make sure what's going on with our players, what we're going to need to watch. Well, number one is we need to watch Jalen Milroe and see if he's going to be able to go full speed in this game. Had a little nicked up in the last game. Got hit, I would say probably a thigh bruise, hip pointer, whatever you want to call it. But it definitely was affecting him during the game. Is he going to come back healthy? Do we get Deontay Lawson back? Do we get Jalen Key back? Can we play a full game before we go into the Auburn Tigers in a week? Will we get everybody back, or will they still be out? That's something to watch for in this game. And can our offensive line maintain its intensity and impose their will on the Chattanooga defense? Chattanooga has a good defense, but I believe if we lay on them and push on them and hit on them for 4 quarters, we'll wear them down eventually. So we got to start fast, limit our mistakes, and don't play complacent. Play in this game like it's the game we got to have, because it is. If we want to win the national championship, if we want to compete for a national championship, we got to win this game against Chattanooga. Well, I believe it's all said and done, we come out and Jalen Milroe has another great game. I believe our offensive line has a great game. We don't make any mistakes, and we shine on all cylinders. And Chattanooga scored, but they scored late in this game. I believe Alabama goes away winning this game. Alabama 52, Chattanooga 21. Well, that's it for the DC Capstone Report this week. We thank you all for tuning in and listening to me. I'm humbled each week by the number of people that reach out about listening to me talk about Alabama football. I appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to go out and check out our sponsors, RollTideBama.com, FreelancePictures.com, or Karen Cottingham Realtor right here in Tuscaloosa at 205-887-4008. Like us on Facebook. Share our podcast with all your friends on YouTube or Twitter or wherever you go. Check our website out at DCCapstoneReport.com. This is DC signing off with a big Roll Tide.